Hey, welcome back. It's taking forever to get back, so I'm just gonna start. Probably have to fight 3 more enemies, maybe. Okay. You can escape, but you need the escape chip. I don't know if I have the escape chip. Maybe we want to talk about Job today. Want to try to talk about Job? I really like Job so far. I know I have a feeling the end of Job is going to be like God kind of gets the last word, and he's like, "Whoa, you kind of have to just shut up and not complain about your problems because I'm God and just do whatever I say." But okay, so Job starts with a man who has everything. You know the story probably. Tale as old as time. Then Satan comes to God and is like, I gotta write down the time, 7:26. You know, this Job guy's super cool, but what if you took away everything from him? Would he still be super cool? And God's like, okay, I mean, you want to take everything away from him? Go ahead. And he does. Get the spread shot. So, Satan, what does he do? What's the first thing he does? I think he takes away like all his livestock. And then he takes away his family dies, like the house collapses on his family dies. Then that's when Satan goes to God and is like, or God's like, look, see, he's still praising me, he still likes me. I think I'm supposed to jack out. And then go downstairs, and then the thing's on fire? No. What am I supposed to do? Let's go to our room and connect to the net. I did that already. Where's I supposed to go? Then Job says something like, oh, you know, well, his wife comes to him and is like, why don't you just curse God and die? And Job is like, well, you know, if I'm with God with the good times, then I gotta be with him on the bad times. And then Satan's like, well, I didn't do enough stuff yet. So God's like, okay, keep doing stuff. What do I care? And then Satan takes away, he gives him boils. And then at this point, and then maybe his wife dies? I don't remember. Then Job's friends come to him and say, and they're kind of like dicks to him. They're like, so, I know all this horrible stuff has happened to you. So this is when Job starts to get cool, and when I start to like Job. He goes, he says a lot of really interesting stuff. I mean, just read Job. It's like a really good, even if you're not a Christian, you would like it a lot, I think. At least the part that I'm at. Maybe not the ending. I wonder who wrote Job. He should get some credit, because he wrote like some really good. I mean, this is like the 6th century BC when this was written or something, and like it's written really well. It's like Shakespeare gets credit for his stuff. Whoever wrote Job should get credit. What was the... Why is life given to a man whose way is hidden? That was my favorite line. So Job has this really long, like, soliloquy where he's, like, yelling at God and being like, why did you create me just to punish me and for me to suffer? This doesn't make any sense. This is so stupid. Life is dumb. I want to die and you can't even let me die. And I think my favorite line was the one that I just read. And his whole like soliloquy thing, which was, why is life given to a man whose way is hidden? That's like It's beautiful. I love that. That's like my whole life summed up. Why does God give us life and then not tell us what to do with it, or why we're here, or what's the point of it? He's just like, do it. And I'm like, what? Do what? What do you want me to do? Job was like, I did everything you wanted me to. I was a good person. Like, I guess in the narrative of the story, Job is a good person. He does all the good stuff. He is a godly man. He doesn't do anything wrong. And God still, in Job's perspective, God still just is like, takes everything away from him. He's like, I don't care, you're stupid and I don't like you. Like, I just have to survive on the whims of this deity who I don't know, and what does he want from me, and why is my path hidden? Why don't you just tell me what to do? And then that's when Job's kind of saying that stuff out loud, his friends, I guess, hear it, and they come to him, and they're like, well, our lives are kind of good, so maybe God is just punishing you for stuff you did wrong, because, like, our lives are good, and he's not punishing us, so maybe just do what we do. Have you tried, like, not sucking? And Job, and I think this is where I stopped reading so far. But I liked that. Like, so far the story is really good. It's told, like, it doesn't seem to fit in with the rest of the Bible that I've read so far. Where, like, Job is the hero, and he has questions. He's questioning God. And he's like, this isn't right, God. What are you doing? You're just killing people and you're making them suffer for no reason. What's the point of this? And then his friends come over, and they're like, well, maybe you're just not doing exactly what God wanted you to do. And Job at that point is still a hero, so what they're saying is wrong. They're being bad people. And in the story, they're being villains. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Can I buy... I think this gives me HP. Maybe? Yes, it does. Cool. So now I have like 110 health or something. Should I look at my library? Oops, what did I just do? Did I just delete it? I don't know how this works, I'll figure it out later. You don't have 30 chips in your chip folder. Oh. That's a good one. It's a good chip, what's a good chip? I like these chips. Okay. Any other Job notes? Job wallowed. So it's probably dumb of me to not to talk about Job when I didn't even finish the book yet, but Job is the hero and he's like wallowing. So it makes me think like it's a good thing. I have a feeling that in the end, Job's going to be like, oh God, you were so smart to test me, and I don't remember how Job ends. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope in the end, Job kind of gets the last word and he's like, but you kind of still suck sometimes, God, right? I mean, why did you do this to me? Why did you take everything from me and give me life for no reason? Why did you do that? I don't get it. And then the book just ends, I guess. So yeah, that's Job. But you should definitely read it if you haven't. like it a lot so far. That one section where Job is just kind of going off for like a full page about God being terrible and this life doesn't make any sense, and why don't I just die, and I can't even die. I don't even want to kill myself. I'm just like, yes, go off, king. Is that what people say on Twitter? He's got it. He's nailing it. Be like Job, don't be like Moses. Moses thought he had all the answers. But Job, I kind of like that Job. It takes a while for him to get to that point. Like, even after his family dies and all of his property is gone, he's still like, no, it's okay, God's got his purpose or whatever. And then he couldn't decode it. Eventually he gets to a point where he's like, no, this is all wrong. This life, it's so dumb. Why? What's the purpose? Like, what's your plan? What was the line? Why is life given to a man whose path is hidden, whose way is hidden? Beautiful. I love that line. Maybe I'll end today, and I'll play a little bit of his soliloquy for you, real quick. I'm on Job 9, so let's go back to Job 6, maybe?
Restrain his anger. Earth, grow me from the hand of the enemy. Rescue me from the clutches of the ruthless. Teach me, and I will be quiet. Show me where I have been wrong. How painful are honest words. But I've been confident. Terrors, we have examined it, and it is true. So hear it, and apply it to yourself. Job 6. Then Job replied, if only my anguish could be weighed, and all my misery be placed on the scales. It would surely outweigh the sand of the seas. No wonder my words have been impetuous. The arrows of the Almighty are in me. My spirit drinks in their poison. God's terrors are marshaled against me. Does a wild donkey bray when it has grass, or an ox bellow when it has fodder? Is tasteless food eaten without salt? Or is there flavor in the sap of the mallow? I refuse to touch it. Such food makes me ill. Oh, that I might have my request, that God would grant what I hope for, that God would be willing to crush me, to let loose his hand and cut off my life. Then I would still have this consolation, my joy in unrelenting pain, that I had not denied the words of the Holy One. What strength do I have that I should still hope? What prospects that I should be patient? Do I have the strength of stone? Is my flesh bronze? Do I have any power to help myself now that success has been driven from me? Anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. But my brothers are as undependable as intermittent streams, as the streams that overflow when darkened by thawing ice and swollen with melting snow, but that stop flowing in the dry season and in the heat vanish from their channels. Caravans turn aside from their route.
Just kind of going off on his friends now. I want to get to the part where...
Sue me from the clutches of the ruthless. Teach me, and I will be quiet. Show me where I have been wrong. How painful that any wickedness on my lips. Can my mouth not discern malice?
Yeah, so that's after his friends kind of like berated him, and he's like, well, what did I do wrong? I just want to die. Tell me what I did wrong.
Job 7. Do not mortals have hard service on earth? Are not their days like those of hired laborers? Like a slave longing for the evening shadows, or a hired laborer waiting to be paid. So I have been allotted months of futility, and nights of misery have been assigned to me. When I lie down, I think, how long before I get up? The night drags on, and I toss and turn until dawn. My body is clothed with worms and scabs. My skin is broken and festering. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, and they come to an end without hope. Remember, O God, that my life is but a breath. My eyes will never see happiness again. The eye that now sees me will see me no longer. You will look for me, but I will be no more. As a cloud vanishes at his dawn, so one who goes down to the grave does not return. He will never come to his house again. His place will know him no more. Therefore I will not keep silent. I will speak out in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I the sea or the monster of the deep that you put me under guard? When I think my bed will comfort me and my couch will ease my complaint, even then you frighten me with dreams and terrify me with visions, so that I prefer strangling and death rather than this body of mine. I despise my life. I would not live forever. Let me alone. My days have no meaning. What is mankind that you make so much of them, that you give them so much attention, that you examine them every morning and test them every moment? Will you never look away from me, or let me alone even for an instant?
Okay, this is my favorite part. Say it, do it again.
By me with visions, that I prefer strangling and death rather than this body of mine. I despise my life. I would not live forever. Let me alone. My days have no meaning. What is mankind that you make so much of them, that you give them so much attention, that you examine them every morning and test them every moment? Will you never look away from me, or let me alone even for an instant? If I have sinned, what have I done to you, you who sees everything we do? Why have you made me your target? Have I become a burden to you? Why do you not pardon my offenses and forgive my sins? For I will soon lie down in the dust. You will search for me, but I will be no more. Job 8. Then Bildad the Shuhite replied, how long will you say such?
That freaking Shuhite. Shuhite? That didn't. I thought that was gonna be the part where he said, "Why is life given to a man whose way is hidden?" That's my favorite part. But I like that part too. It's a little bit for me to relate to Job. It's a little bit like angsty, like, oh, my life is so hard. I mean, Job had festering wounds and nowhere to sleep, and his friends hated him, and his family died, and he had no food. My life isn't like Job. But I feel that way. I have that, like, I love that part where he's just, like, yelling at God, like, I'm gonna die one day, so you're gonna hear it, and while I'm here, you're gonna hear about it. And he's just, like, complaining all this stupid stuff. Why do you test me every moment of the day? Just give me a break. Give me a break for a second. Tell me what to do. What's the point? This meaninglessness. I think he actually says that. He says meaninglessness. Man, whoever wrote that book needs credit, because that was like such great writing. I mean, I know it's translated, but it's amazing. What does the Shuhite have to say? Alright, I shouldn't. No, well, what?
Things. Your words are a blustering wind. Does God pervert justice? Does the Almighty pervert what is?
Yeah, this is when his friends are like, were you stupid or something? God's good. Didn't you know that God's good? And he's like, got a plan for you? And Job was like, shut up. I hate you.
Right, learn. For we were born only yesterday and know nothing. And our days web. They lean on the web, but it gives way. To dispute with him, they could not answer him one time out of 1,000. His wisdom is profound. His power is vast. Who has resisted him and come out unscathed? He moves mountains without their knowing it, and overturns them in his anger. He shakes the earth from its place and makes its pillars tremble. He speaks to the sun, and it does not shine. He seals off the light of the stars. He alone stretches out the heavens and treads on the waves of the sea. He is the maker of the Bear and Orion, the Pleiades, and the constellations of the south. He performs wonders that cannot be fathomed, miracles that cannot be counted. When he passes me, I cannot see him. When he goes by, I cannot perceive him. With a storm and multiply my wounds for no reason. He would have... What are you doing? God does not restrain his anger. Even the cohorts of Rahab cowered at his feet. How then can I dispute with him? How can I find words to argue with him? Though I were innocent, I could not answer him. I could only plead with my judge for mercy. Even if I summoned him and he responded, I do not believe he would give me a hearing. He would crush me with a storm and multiply my wounds for no reason. He would not let me catch my breath, but would overwhelm me with misery. If it is a matter of strength, he is mighty. And if it is a matter of justice, who can challenge him?
Job's great. I like that book. As a Christian, you're supposed to be like, yeah, God is terrible, but Jesus saves us, or whatever, but whatever. See you tomorrow.